Hi everyone, my name is Paulo. Welcome back to Across the Pond. We are now streaming on our new channel. Kieran is here as usual, back better than ever, and we have a special guest today, ChopperNator.
What's up, stream? How you doing?
So before we get into anything too controversial that that the name ChopperNator is usually associated with, I figured we'd have a light talk about just kind of the state of what we're doing here versus what a lot of people are doing on YouTube now, and kind of, the same circle of friends that we've been used to is now kind of, I guess I would say, disbanded, because everyone's going their separate ways and doing their own things in life, but there's still that group of people who are very attached to YouTube and arguing and taking life a little too seriously.
That's a good way of summing it up.
Yeah. I mean, what were you saying earlier, Chopper, about kids? I mean, like Kieran and I's age, right? We're about 19 almost, kind of.
I'd say, do you know what? Probably more likely your age actually than younger. But I just think the people that are spending like literally all of their time either playing or streaming or editing or talking about zombies, I just think they're missing out on so many other things that I did when I was 19. I know that the people I play with and the people that I know did at that age, and it does make me a little bit sad. I know there's certain people who their whole social life is on Xbox and whatnot for various reasons, and I kind of understand that, but just still, I just think some people at that age take it a little bit too seriously, as if this is definitely going to be their career and whatnot, and it's really very, very few people make it, I think, quite clearly, and very few people can ever have a channel that sustains. If you just do zombies, at the end of the day, if there's no zombies, what do you do? If you can't move on to something else, and that's the thing. Say after Black Ops 3, there's never any more zombies. You're gonna get all these people at 23 who might have spent 6 years, from 17 till 23, playing pretty much one game, and then it's not there anymore. And it's just, I think there's certain people, if there really wasn't any more zombies, it would really negatively affect their lives. In like a serious way. And I just wish it wasn't like that. The main reason I suppose stopped, not only because I don't have the time for it, but I stopped enjoying it as much, and that was over a year ago, just because you started to see it already, I mean, I think I got a message from someone, right? And everyone who knows me knows I don't play with anyone. I'm not, I suppose, really clicky, but I am kind of clicky. I only play with very few people.
People it's not
like...
like...
people I know
you don't take random
from somewhere. I don't play with any randoms, and a guy sent me a message saying, will you play with me? I got back to him, I don't really play with people. He kept sending me friend requests, and he ended up putting a message on my channel. He was like, are you fucking, I think I'd put 500 subs, you mid-range YouTubers, you think your shit don't stink and all this, and you don't want to play with the people below you. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've only got 500 subs, and I just started thinking differently about it, and I remember it. Because thinking, if that's how people are seeing it, as literally these different levels, I just don't really want to be too involved in that. It's not for me. Not for me.
I completely agree with that. I mean, it's something about YouTube that the viewers are very fickle. They don't seem to change. So, for example, on my channel, obviously I do Pokemon videos, or I used to do Pokemon videos a lot, not so much anymore. And then I started getting more into commentating, which is sort of where this whole show came from, yeah. And it was something that I really enjoyed doing. I'd start uploading gameplays from other games and stuff like that, and those videos got really crappy views, and I actually had people saying to me, when are you uploading another Pokemon video? And it's just, I want to do something else. Like, you can either roll with it or get the fuck out, to be honest. And it's got to the point now where I haven't uploaded a video in a few weeks, and I'll be honest, I don't put a huge amount of effort into my videos anymore unless it's something I genuinely care about. And it's just got to the point now where I'm like, I don't want to be making Pokemon videos anymore. That's not really my style anymore. It's sort of, it was fun for a while, and it was sort of, it was fun to sort of get that sort of viewer base, but now it's just a case of I want to do something a bit more my style, a bit more mature, let's say, because that's one of the problems with doing a Pokemon channel is that the majority of my viewers are like 13 years old at most, and they just don't sort of understand this sort of thing.
And with zombies, for those of you who are watching who don't know, because apparently people now watch this podcast who have no idea what goes on YouTube, but are friends with me. We had this kind of, I wouldn't call it a community, but it's just a group of people who very religiously played one game, and it got pretty competitive, but at some point most of us ended up realizing how silly it was, or just how much time we didn't have, and we moved on. But I feel like with any game really, there's this kind of addictive aspect to it that if you stop playing it, you lose all of the attention that you were getting for playing it. You know, because you may want to play something else, you may want to do something else, but that something else is not going to give you the same attention or recognition that playing your first thing did.
Yeah.
At that point, it's kind of like an addiction in the same way that, I mean, I wouldn't say it's this on the same level as smoking or drinking, but it's definitely, there's like you have this withdrawal from that kind of attention and that kind of company, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I think the main thing is to have everything, I suppose, balanced. And I just think, and I obviously said this to you two earlier, but I really am talking about, I think, the younger people. I think if you're older, and I suppose you've gone past your education stage in life, and you've got into the career, whatever you're doing, you've got yourself a house. I think it's okay. You can, if you then decide, I really do think that. I do think it's okay, because I think you probably are possibly missing out on stuff, but generally if you've done all that when you're younger and don't start doing this until you're 30, kind of similar to me and some of my friends, you still spent from 18 to 30, doing having a really good crazy stuff and whatnot, and then you're making a decision later in life to do something like this. But I just think you're in a better place to make that decision. You're affecting your life, or potentially the rest of your life, a lot less doing it that way around.
Okay, I got a question for both of you and the stream. Okay, so like, say that there's a kid around maybe 16 who, instead of playing video games all day, he goes out and gets drunk and is out all hours of the night, is basically never home on the weekends. Do you think his parents, would they, like, knowing, I mean, obviously they're not going to approve of his lifestyle, but how would their approval compare if he was just in his room the entire weekend playing video games and spending 30 hours straight playing a high-round zombies game? I mean, how does the approval compare from parents, or how does the approval compare from society's perspective as a whole? I mean, I know we have a very different and kind of, we play both sides of the argument, but I don't know, how would society see it? Which is worse, I guess, is the question.
To me, I think it depends how you that you've gone to the extreme of someone spending 30 hours in their room, I suppose, playing. So I think you're going to the other extreme of someone who is only going out, I suppose, smoking and drinking. Is that what you're not talking about? Someone who's doing that in a balance, right?
No. Someone who is extreme on either end.
As a parent, I'd rather my kid be staying in their room. They're not honest. They're not going to kill themselves in their room. Do you know what I mean? They're really not.
Just to sort of counter that point, a news story that came out. It was a few weeks ago, I think. In fact, no, it was a few months ago. Looking at the date on the news story, saying that someone isn't going to kill themselves in their room. A few months ago, there was a man who played Diablo 3 for 40 hours solid, and they died because they were playing computer games and they didn't stop to eat or to sleep or anything. They actually died.
What?
So,
you know, I think there's a case. Honestly, I think there's a case from 2 to 3 years ago, in Asia somewhere, but something very similar happened. So
it's just crazy. Like, if you're going to the extreme, that is the extreme. You sort of can die from that. But the average, we'll go more like the average person, where you do like gaming marathons and stuff like every weekend. And for me, being someone who used to be that guy who would stay in and play computer games for stupid long hours. I mean, you remember last summer, Paolo,
Yeah.
where like I would still be playing computer games at 5 a.m. I mean, I think I spent, this was with Liz the Dolphin, I was playing Little Big Planet, so not even a game that you could spend like long hours in like a game on. So like it wouldn't feel so bad playing 6 hours on zombies if it was like a really good run and we're getting a high round or something. But we played Little Big Planet from about 8 p.m. GMT till about 5 a.m. the next day.
Oh my god.
And like at the end of the day, I felt great. Well, other
You were
than the fact that I was exhausted, yeah. But I felt like I'd really achieved something. Like I'd been gaming for that long, and it was really fun. And now I look back on it, I'm just like, what the fuck was I doing on Little Big Planet for 9 hours solid? Little Big Planet. It's not even a game
honestly,
you can spend
some
a lot
of my
time.
biggest gaming sessions I look back with nostalgia on. Seriously, I can remember some of them. Like the first time I played Final Fantasy VIII, for instance. So when did that come out? Was that in 2000? 99?
98, I want to say 99.
Okay, so I played that at my friend's house, who was a few years older than me. And I remember we played from like, I don't know, 6 p.m. to like 8 a.m. the next day or something before crashing out. And I just think it comes down to a balance. Whatever way you look at it, I just think it's about balance, because we've all done, you know, those long sessions. But and I just saw what Andrew said about, you know, people aren't athletic, but I don't think it's just about sports. I think it's just going out and socialising.
Or just
You know,
even
if you
just like
go with
taking
just
a walk, or just looking outside,
reading a
past
book in
your
a
window.
park or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's obviously, as Andrew said, there's not going to be people who are athletic, and there's going to be a lot of people out there who don't find it easy to make friends and are bullied and whatnot. So you can't really say to them, well, just go out and talk to your friends. But I still think you can balance it out. I mean, your main social life for a lot of people could be mainly on Xbox and whatnot, and that's cool. But I think there's still ways of breaking away from that, whatever type of person you are.
Yeah.
I think there's always things you can find to do. I just think your life is it's gonna be a bit better like that.
And then you get attached to one thing too, and then it's like it becomes your entire life. You know, when sometimes you wonder like, well, why do people get so emotional over a game, or why do they get so emotional over like one thing? Well, if all you do is one thing and that becomes your entire outlet, like it is with I mean, obviously I'm not going to name any names, but I see that there are many people who spend so much time doing one thing that every little thing that goes wrong in that one thing just drives them over the edge, as if something bad would actually happen in real life.
Yeah, they're the people that you've got. I think they're the people that worry me the most. Is those people like that, you know? But I think you can also have people who become upset. Look, I've got friends, certainly not I suppose direct friends, but certainly friends. Like I've got a couple of friends who are hardcore football fans. One Arsenal, one Chelsea, and I know some of their friends. Football is their life. You know,
Yeah.
their mood depends on football. And the summers when there's not a World Cup and whatnot. Well, one of my friends, honestly, when he was younger, he had a lot of problems when he was younger. He didn't have a good relationship with his mum, and his dad died when he was young. His mum was really, really nasty to him. He left home at 16, was living in the YMCA, which you all know, Kieran.
Yeah.
And he got really into football because of that. But the thing is, he got a massive drinking thing, and once he got to about 23, he basically he stopped drinking when Arsenal stopped playing, and he'd lose 3 stone in that period. 3 stone over, what's that, 3 months the football season's not on for?
Yeah.
So I think
pretty
there's
much.
many things in life that people can become so obsessed with that it defines a lot of their personality, and certainly a lot of their moods, and it's just that's what you want to stay away from, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I'm one of those people that does prefer to stay in and, you know, game or watch TV or something rather than go out. But the few times when I do go out, like the last time I went out drinking, it was my birthday just over a month ago, and
That was a month ago?
it
Oh my
was a month and 2 days to be exact.
God.
And
Where does the time go?
and it was really nice just to be out of the house and actually doing something. And like, I know next month I'm going to be going to Comic-Con, for example, and like, that's going to be something really awesome. And I think that's one of the main things. You can't stay inside. That was something I did a lot when I was sort of going through the worst of my depression. I spent a lot of time inside in my room, playing computer games, watching TV, doing stuff like that, and it really, really got to me. And as much as people say, "Oh, you could stay inside, it's fine," it doesn't actually do anything to you. It does mess with your head if you stay inside for that long. It really does mess with your head, and you've got to get out more.
And I think on the reverse of that, obviously going out a lot is really, really bad. Because I was in the Philippines, that's why we haven't had the show for a while, and over there the drinking age is 18, and obviously I'm 19, so in the US I'm not legal, but over there I was, and I think it was something like six nights in a row. We went out, we went drinking. I mean, nothing like serious, like we weren't partying or anything, but we were like at a club or a bar, and we wouldn't get home until like 1 or 2. It's just like, by the end of it, I felt so exhausted, and by the 6th night, I was so exhausted from everything that I just fell asleep on the couch for 15 hours. It's like, I feel like the balance there.
They're the best sleeps, those ones.
Yeah.
They always are. But I know what you mean. It's if you, it's nothing to the extreme, basically. It's
everything in
common
moderation.
sense. Everything in moderation, and you'll pretty much be alright.
Speaking of people that are a bit sort of crazy when it comes to gaming, during the time we were off, I went to a Pokemon tournament. I was posting about it all over Twitter. I was really excited, and Paolo will know I trained hard for this. Like, I went proper full Pokemon Master style on this tournament, and I went there, and sort of I was the first person there. Like, I got there way too early, and so I was waiting sort of outside the store that it was being held in, just sort of waiting for them to open up. And people were they were queuing behind me like people should do, like the norm. And then a couple of other people came in that clearly thought they were better than everyone else, and they were bragging to everyone about how they were pro players and how they were at the World Championships and stuff. And next thing I know, the doors opened to let us into this tournament. And these people push in front of me, literally physically push me into... The person behind me couldn't have been older than 8 years old. And
wow.
I pretty much clattered right into them and knocked them over. And these people didn't seem to give a shit. And they made sure they were at the front of the line, went up to the person running the tournament and just said, "Look, we didn't actually enter the tournament, but put us on a reserve list in case someone doesn't show up." So in other words, they weren't actually supposed to be in the tournament. And so later on that day, I was in whatever, I was getting ready for my battle, and I find out that the person I'm supposed to be battling against didn't actually show up. They didn't make it. And so one of these quote-unquote pro players got subbed in because they'd pushed in front. I know there were people behind me that were hoping to get in as sort of a reserve player that were there before, and I ended up playing against this pro player, and to put it bluntly, I got beaten. Like, it was one of those battles where if I hadn't had the injustice of not having one of my Pokemon allowed in the tournament, I probably would have won the battle, but I didn't complain. It was one of the rules, so I had to make a substitution in my team. And this guy then basically started bragging just like about how good he was when he beat me, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I just sort of walked out, and like, that experience, just like, you have literally just rubbed it into some amateur player's face about how much better than them you were. And like, I honestly didn't care. Like, the guy was a dick, and I was happy just to take my position, and I played with a couple of people afterwards that were really nice that weren't the pro players and stuff. It's just, this guy had literally rubbed it in my face that he was so much better than me, and just that one experience sort of makes me not want to go back to any other tournaments ever. Like, that makes me want to stop playing the game competitively. And like, the thing that saved it was I did play other players afterwards, other players that went out in the same round as me, and we did sort of an unofficial sort of battle for position thing, and I ended up winning the whole battle for position thing, so I ended up coming 9th in the tournament. And it was brilliant because I was playing with these people. They were all sort of a similar sort of skill level to me. They all were there for fun. They didn't care whether they won or lost. They would just wanted to, you know, play the game, see how good they were up against some better players. And all of us just sort of stood there and agreed that the pro players were dicks. And it was just, Pokemon is a kid's game. There's no other way around. Its primary target market,
It's
albeit
children,
there are stuff in there for an older audience. It is for children, and these pro players came in, and one of them got beaten by an amateur.
Yeah.
Completely fair and square, got beaten, and they refused to take it. They came up with some bullshit rule from like 1999, from like the first ever tournament, the rules from the first ever tournament, that it had been completely forgotten and no one gave a shit about those rules anymore, but it was technically still in place because it was never removed. And so this guy went all the way back, got all these rules to make sure he got through to the next round. This amateur player, she was a really, really nice girl. Like, she was the person that I beat in the final of the playing for position, and she was a really, really naturally talented player. It was her first tournament, like it was for me, and she'd only got into the game sort of within the last 2 years, and she was incredibly naturally talented. And if she were to get through the tournament, which she didn't because this guy came up with some bullshit excuse why she shouldn't, then she probably could have gone on and maybe even won the tournament, maybe even become a legit pro player and one of the best in the world. But because of that experience, is now the worry that, like I felt, she may never come back, and that's completely wasted.
That's just, I don't know, it's just like the typical bully mentality, I think. Yeah, you find it everywhere with these, like in any game. Even like Boysta's mentioning in the chat, it even comes up in these zombie talks, I guess. You know, people who have accomplished quote unquote something will always, you know, they just try to pull out all these weird rules and regulations. It's just so
That
silly.
they do.
And it's so unfair to the people who actually like care about the game. I mean, like I've seen a couple times just a kid who, it doesn't even matter what game, but a kid who's fairly new to YouTube. He's not annoying in the sense that he's really trying to sell his channel, but he's just posting a video and he was proud of what he had done, and there's just someone who goes on and just posts about how bad he is. It's like, what?
They used to. Do you remember that kid? It was one of Mig HD.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mega is just the person I was thinking of when I said that. And Mega introduced me to Mig, and what is it? I think is he autistic? And he's got a stutter, and he's only 14, and he used to put up videos on YouTube, and the abuse he used to get, it wasn't a load of it, but it's like, I don't understand how anyone can say anything bad in a situation like that, you know. And I know some stuff, there is some background to that, and you know, I know Mega knows a bit more about it, and it's really not cool at all, stuff like that. And that's what I hated about YouTube, is that just some of the comments and whatnot that are said just shock me. I mean, I know I say some stuff, but I never just would attack an almost, I suppose, defenseless person who's really going to make a difference to, just to get a kick out of it. You know, I don't understand how people can do that.
On the same topic, I mean, it happened to me as well. I posted a video to YouTube about the day I was raped, and I got a lot of support on that. I mean, I'm pretty sure both of you commented on that video, and
I'll find it.
And basically what happened a little bit later on was I had a bunch of people start sending sort of hate messages, and it's like, again, it didn't affect me too much because that sort of thing doesn't bother me, but that could have been someone who could have been really, really hurt, could have been really it could have done major damage to like their self-esteem and stuff. And it's like, you've just gone onto someone's video, someone who's basically put their entire heart and soul on the internet and basically told them that they're a piece of shit. And that is something that just pisses me off.
I got it. On Kieran's The Day I Was Raped My Story video, which is over 2,000 views, and it only has 2 dislikes on it to like 60 plus likes. And this guy, everyone basically says, you know, you're doing well. This one guy comments, "You, sir, are a faggot. You are a minute contribution to the decline of civilization. Just another proponent that it's okay to be a whiny fag crying about your feelings. The world can be shitty. Get over it, nut up, and move on with life."
So, okay.
And that's just, I don't understand where that comes from. But then again, like Kieran said, he's not offended by that, and I feel like that kind of insult, it's just, it's just internet talk. I feel like there are two types of insults. I've been thinking about this. It's one thing to insult someone's existence, to say mean things to them. And then there's a whole different type of insult, which I feel is the worst type of insult, when you basically say that you find someone's existence insulting, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it's really making a point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's just it's almost a clever way of really putting someone down, in a way, in a twisted way, because it does really hit hard. I understand that. I really do.
Yeah. Just sad. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still like, I'm not gonna respond to that guy because he just probably needs lots of help. But I don't know. Like, stuff like that. Like, even though I'll shrug it up, excuse me, I'll shrug it off and say it doesn't get under my skin. But when it happens to like good friends and you see people insulting, even like a lot of the stuff that I know many people in this chat have seen before, and we just pretend to ignore, it's just really wrong and offensive. And like, you wish you could say something, but you're just you're not going to get anywhere with the person who said something insulting.
You see, there's a few occasions when I can't resist, as you two know. Just I ignore an awful lot of stuff, but eventually it might just be a bad day or whatnot. But eventually I will say something. I know if you're arguing with an idiot, you can't win, can you? Unless you become an idiot yourself, and then you're just a winning idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But I still can't resist. Sometimes it really gets to me, and especially if I know that something someone said has really affected someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say something. I just can't not.
I don't know, Kieran. Are you?
I think I'm a little bit more like Chopper. If
Okay.
someone, I did reply to that comment.
you replied to the
I sent it
first
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the first one. Yeah. I made it was a really awesome post. Like, there's no doubt about it. I put a lot of work into that post, but I don't often use it as like a way to try and sort of insult back or try and change their mind or something. I use it sort of as an opportunity to sort of show them the error of their ways in a sense, like educate them sort of thing.
No pun intended.
Thing is, because some of the people, you can tell that some people are just, I suppose, dumb, and then you get people out there who they're not. They might act it, but you can tell they're intelligent, and they're the ones that I think it's worth responding to, because they might not admit it, but if you word it well, I suppose, to get your point across well, that it's going to hit them regardless. As I said, they might not show it, but it makes me feel better when I say something to someone, when I know that they know that even if I'm swearing my head off in what I'm saying, if they know there's logic in what I'm saying, and it's there's some truth in it, it does make me feel better. I don't care if that person won't admit it, but if I know that they know it, I'm going to say it. That's the way I try and do it. I only try and say things to people that are going to have some kind of meaning to them, as opposed to just if you try and say something to every bad comment you see, you're not going to get anywhere. But I think there's some you can. Yeah, you're going to cost yourself more, mate. That's exactly why I got off Facebook, because I was just. There's too many ways to argue on Facebook. There's too many people you can argue with. There's too many idiots you can make fun of when you're feeling bad and you want to go and see some stupid people arguing. And it's not healthy. It's not good for you to do at all.
I guess the transition is, because a lot of this stuff, I know that most people just tend to ignore the just stupid comments, but when does something kind of cross the line? And I guess, you just told me about this today. I just learned about it today, the whole thing with the Sith Bass. What? Sure, he could have ignored things like that, but I feel like at that point it becomes more than just petty insults,
Yeah, that was I don't know. That was really bad. do you know what Wings? It doesn't. To me, it's. I suppose there is point to the actual thing he's talking about, but once you start insulting like that, you've gone so far over the line that you just can't come back over it. You can't back down from certain things, I think. And that was the worst thing about that is I think the guy was a big troll, openly admits that, and he's come back to say, I'm not like that anymore. I got found out, and I just don't. There's no way you're not trolling, because if you're genuinely trying to change, you just don't do things like that.
And for those of you who don't know in the stream, what happened was that someone, Wings, you said it, he posted pictures of Sith Bass and accusing him of being a terrorist affiliated with Al Qaeda and the Taliban. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Jesus.
With his face with a beard drawn on it.
I mean, that's just
next to Obama.
Wow.
Sorry, Osama bin Laden. Seriously.
I mean, that's not just crossing the line. That's going over the line and destroying it with a hammer. Like, that's just absolutely
I know
ridiculous.
what I would do if someone did that to me. If someone did the equivalent of that to me, you can do stuff. You can if you have the time and you have the resources, you can always do stuff. And,
okay.
Yeah, I think too many people see the internet as a place where they can just basically do stuff. There's no I can go up to someone in a pub and say that. It's just you're hiding behind a monitor when you're doing it, and it's just the worst form of being a coward. Basically, you're trying to bully people and you're a coward at the same time. I mean, you've hit a double low to me, and it's just, as I said, there's no coming back from that. Doesn't matter what you say. On Wings, I really said some really harsh things to him. And he said, let's take this off the comments, let's go pro. I said, fuck off, mate. I said, seriously, I'm putting this out there so that everyone who sees this knows exactly what I think about you. What good is talking to you gonna do? You've called one of my you've posted those things about one of my friends. What are you gonna say? Oh, I'm sorry, but you haven't said sorry to him. There's no point in us having a conversation, because I don't want to say. I really don't want to say too much.
Yeah. And on that same line, it's like, what about the real world implications on Sith Bass's life? Like, what if I don't know. I mean, he's a pretty successful guy. He has a steady job. He lives a good life. But what if he's trying to move up? He's trying to get promoted. He's trying to move on, and someone finds that picture of him somewhere on the internet. What?
Did you see what was just said in the chat? Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No.
Wing said he is not racist because he is Spanish. Honestly, it is the weakest argument you can make in that situation.
That's a horrible argument.
It's horrible. On so many levels, it's a horrible argument. And you're right, I can't be a racist because I'm a minority. What a load of shit.
That is a terrible argument. That really is. But anyway, I mean...
That's just as bad as the argument saying you can't be sexist because you're female.
No, I'm pretty sure.
In fact, no, that's worse than that argument. And
there are so many minorities in this world, and all of them can be equally racist. I mean, no one is spared. I mean, everyone is equally racist. Anyway, I mean, I feel like the real world implications for Sith Bass would be terrible. I mean, like, I get if he was trying to troll, and I get if you're trying to be funny, but do people not understand that, like, on the internet, stuff we post is going to affect people in the real world? It's like a really shitty thing to do.
I mean, if something's on the internet, it's there for life. Like, the internet's not going anywhere, and if you don't have control over something on the internet, then it's staying. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's one of those things. If someone's posting about someone else, and they're like, as you put it, going for a job or something, if they do like a background check online and they find those pictures, they're going to go, well, what the hell is this crap? Do we really want someone?
Do you know what? I've never thought about that. I honestly never thought about that.
It's just bad, because it made me think of the. Are you guys familiar with the whole I Fly Illini thing?
Yeah.
The what? Sorry.
The iFly Illini. He was a YouTuber. Okay,
No.
well, it's story time. Okay. So he was a YouTuber back in the day. He was very small. He had a channel of, I think it was less than 5,000 subscribers, but he was in contact with this guy named Raw Instinct, who was a machinima director. And over time, iFly Illini grew to really resent Raw Instinct because he was, I guess, he was basically stealing other people's content and putting it off as his own. And so iFly Illini made a video exposing him, at which point his channel grew from 4,000 subscribers to like 70,000, and that video got like 700,000 views. And he basically built a great YouTube channel, and he made an intro talking about how he had all these debts to flight school because he wanted to become a pilot. He had like $80,000 in student debt, and he was really grateful for everything happening, and he was really excited about becoming a pilot, getting married to the love of his life, as he said. He grew to like 100,000 subscribers, and then someone found him on a site called ChatterBait, which is basically a site where you watch people masturbate and it gives the person masturbating money. And iFly Illini was doing that because he needed the money to pay for his student loans, student debts, or whatever. Obviously, that's, like, in my opinion, it's not illegal. It's not like a terror. It's like not like the worst thing you could do in this world. It's embarrassing, but it's just
Yeah,
it's
but
not illegal.
the thing is, I always think, is anyone actually being harmed in that situation at
Yeah.
all?
No.
So try and look at everything like that. You know, if no one's being harmed,
Here's
why
the thing:
should it
how
make a difference?
shitty people are on the internet. Like, okay,
So
it's bad
where
enough.
did he go from there?
It's bad enough.
after
Okay, so
that?
like people started making fun of him. He was like, whatever. I mean, you know, it's fine. But people on the internet, they went on to Facebook and kept digging and messaged his wife, messaged his family, messaged the Air Force, telling him what a horrible person he was for masturbating online. And it turns out that he was, like, his wife left him. They were divorced, and they're like, the people on the internet completely ruined their marriage because they spread so many rumors about him. And then they went to the Air Force, and like by his pleading, he was honorably discharged instead of dishonorably discharged. So his dream for his entire life, which he talked about for, like, I guess his dream of 20 years to be a pilot, was just gone because all these people went on the internet and messaged the Air Force saying that he was unfit to be a pilot because he used, you know, unconventional methods for getting money. And now he's back, and he's doing fine. Like, he came back from it somehow, and he's making YouTube videos. I'm actually subscribed to him. He doesn't make gaming videos, but he like makes music now and gives like life advice vlogs or something. But just to show, like, they ruined his life completely. He was about to get married. He had a great life. I think he was married, actually. I think he was on his honeymoon when he blew up, and then a couple months later that was all ruined. So it just goes to show that, like, trolls like that on the internet just can really ruin people's lives.
Yeah,
It's just, and like,
it's messed up, isn't it?
like, it's embarrassing. Yes, he's on a site where he's masturbating in front of people, but like, what? There's nothing illegal about it. It's just weird.
I don't know. I don't think it's. I just don't think it's that weird in today's society, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Let's be honest. That doing that is.
Would kill a lot of careers, wouldn't it? You couldn't be a politician. Half the
No.
country would hate you.
Yeah,
at least
I
half
mean,
the,
the
at least
thing
half
is-
the country, or any country.
The thing is,
Yeah.
doing something like that. I mean, how many porn stars are there out there that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars? They have people practically worshipping them because they're famous in the porn industry, and it's basically.
I wouldn't call it worshipping, but there is some handout.
Well, but there are people that probably do worship, and
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I reckon you could go to some of those sex expos in LA and find some
and it's
some pretty
ridiculous
strange
because-
people there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because basically what he did was it was amateur pornography, effectively. I mean, it wasn't even that, and like there are people that get paid unbelievable amounts of money to do more than just that, and let's be honest, if you're really desperate for the money, and from what I understand, he was in a lot of financial difficulty, you're willing to do anything to to just get by, and his life was ruined
because he did something that was weird but not illegal.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's not something to be looked at in a legal way. It's literally just something that is frowned upon in society. I mean, there could be an alternate reality, say, where that is the done thing, where YouTube is just a site of people masturbating on camera, and that there's this other site that's really tiny and really obscure where people upload gaming videos, and it's really weird. And like a guy's had his life ruined. He wanted to be, I don't know, a submarine guy, because this is alternate reality or some shit. Yeah. And he uploaded videos to this gaming website, and he's now the weirdest guy in the world, and he lost his job and his wife and everything for uploading a Call of Duty video rather than uploading a video of him.
That world doesn't sound that bad.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, do you know what? If you believe in both infinity and parallel universes, that world is out there somewhere.
Yeah.
If you believe both those things, that world has to be out there somewhere.
Somewhere.
You know what I mean? Everything you can imagine is out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's just silly. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I feel really bad for the guy, but his return video is actually pretty special. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Wow, you're weird, but I respect you for coming back from it." Because
I mean, I watched that video, and to have the balls not only to come back when you've basically been attacked by a mob kicking you off the YouTube scene, to come back and just say, "Look, this is what happened. This is why I did what I did." I mean, that's respectable already, and the way he conducted it was just really commendable. Like, I haven't seen many videos out there that can actually match that guy for skill in the way he managed to.
And plus, he's actually really good at what he does. He was a great commentator.
Yeah.
How many subs has he got now? Is his channel doing anything now?
Yeah, it's over 100,000, I think. Let me find
How many views? He gets a lot of views per video.
iFlyLina has about 97,000 subs, and he is basically all music now. His channel is all music. I mean, he has some gaming videos, but he has all music, and he gets like 3,000 to 5,000 views per video, which, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's exposure for his music.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes some balls to come back, doesn't it?
Mm.
It really does.
Oh, Mega, what is this story?
Is that a joke, Mega, or a story?
I want to hear him finish this.
So do I, but I know how slow Mega types. I talked to him on Steam. He won't mind me saying this. I know him. He won't. Talk to him on Steam. He's like, he's typing for 5 minutes, and it'll be like, "So Chopper, we're on now." Mega, what, you using one finger to type? I think he is one finger typing.
Maybe he's eating in the other hand, or maybe he's having a cup of tea while typing.
Well, maybe he's doing an iFly with the other hand.
The site voice that is Chatterbait.
Chatterbait. Gotta get my knob out. What was that again?
Gosh. I had something to say. I feel like I had something to say that was just like right at the tip of my tongue, but it's gone. It's gone now.
I hate that. It's waiting for Mega's joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not. Do you know what? He's a troll. He's gone. Sure of it. I just said that.
There's every
hanging. Okay, that was worth waiting for. That made me laugh.
Alright, for those of you watching this on YouTube, Mega Tiny Boy. 6 years ago, he was cleaning windows on a house, and he climbed up a ladder to clean a bedroom window, and he noticed this guy laying under his bed, and all he could see was he was naked from the waist down, having a tug.
I still have nightmares.
Oh, that's
And then Slicer said, instead of ankle cams, next time we'll be on Chatterbait.
Oh my god,
Is
no.
it a lot of people in the stream can't actually see the chat? Is that the issue?
Oh no, because when we upload it to YouTube, we don't have like the chat there.
Oh yeah, of course. I didn't
So
think
we
about
always
that.
try to read out the best comments.
Yeah. That was funny.
God, what were you said something, Kieran, the other. I feel like you were like saying something and then we were gonna branch off into it and I don't remember.
I have
know
no
what you
idea. We've gone on so many branches. Like I don't know how we got from children and addictions to video games to having people tugging off under a bed, cleaning windows, and
Oh god.
I think it's because everyone loves going off on tangents. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
usually
what it is.
usually how it
yeah.
goes.
I mean, normally we'll start a show and it'll be like I'll have like all my windows open with everything that I think we could talk about, and we'll get we'll do one thing
Yeah.
the entire show because we'll just talk about fucking everything.
Random stuff.
Okay.
That's
We
good.
got. All right. Mega and Boyce are good about the topic.
Challenges
Oh hey Heather.
or high rounds.
All right.
Hey
Challenges are
Heather,
high
how
rounds.
you doing?
I guess to explain for those of you who aren't a part of the whole gaming thing, the normal thing, like when you think of video games, the normal thing to do would be to play challenges like a couple of the people in our chat do. And of course there's another thing that people do, which is play for 60 to 70 hours plus, I don't know why, to get high rounds. So there's kind of a divide between the two people because there's a group of people who play solely for fun and to challenge themselves, and there's a group of people who really just like playing for 75 hours straight.
That's basically it, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, so like I personally prefer challenges. It's just a personal preference because they're quick, they're more fun, and there's no pressure.
It's just, I think that ultimately it's been proved that both high round players can do challenges very well, and the best challenge players can do high rounds very well. I think
Honestly,
that's it.
Yeah.
honestly, my opinion on it is between challenges or high rounds is do whatever the fuck you enjoy the most.
Yeah, I think that's the. When it happened, I mean, obviously I know I was supposed to change, but I never got involved in this argument, but I know people who did. And to me, the problem was the challenge players were just genuinely having fun, and I just think the high round players took it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they initiated the whole, degrading the achievements of challenge players and always throwing them back to high rounds, and that was where the too serious nature it come from. Because me and my friends, we really do play for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, we do. We always have done. But we still like uploading stuff. I think I always found that the high round players, the players who concentrate initially on high rounds, tended to be the ones who really wanted to grow their YouTube channel.
Because it would
Because
seem more
ultimately
impressive,
the way to grow it is to just do really impressive things. That's the only way to really get big, I think, isn't it? And high rounds was seen as that, and it was a bit of a silly divide. But since then, it's been proven that challenge players can do high rounds, and high rounds players can do challenges. That's it. The arguments don't seem to be there anymore. To be honest, I ain't seen one for ages. So to me, they're all muchness. I don't think you can say one's better than the other. But I prefer doing challenges to high rounds because I prefer playing with friends than playing on my own kind of thing. For that simple reason, and I just have not got the time in my life to play that long.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, I feel like when it comes to just uploading high rounds, now the standard is so high. I mean, I checked out Zombie Records earlier, and there's a thing called the 200 Club, and there's like 20 people who have gotten around 200. And it's like, is that the standard now? Is that what people have to do? I feel
Then you can say how many of those 20 are actually legit, because
Yeah.
that's the whole other argument. That these high rounds have really led to that. I mean, when that's just one of the other issues is the whole. I have friends who have these records. Really, I do. The people I talk to regularly, like in Steve and Scotty, and it's just it's led to that whole other thing of you have to stream everything you do, and then people are trying to tear your gameplay apart. And Megas just says, right, surely it's all about having fun. And I don't know. I got into zombies for fun, and I still play it for fun. I just, going back to what we was talking about way back ago. I just think there's too many people. I can honestly imagine that there's people out there playing who feel obligated to both play, stream, and comment. I reckon they get up some days and they'll be like, I really don't fancy it.
Yeah.
But they feel obliged to do it. And I can't imagine being like that.
It's just, I don't know, it's tough because you takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, some days you have fun, but on those days you don't want to play, it's like...
But you're playing because you're in the middle of a game, and...
It's like, well, do I pay for my internet this month, or do I take today off?
Yeah. I just think it's ridiculous. Like, I played zombies up until about October time. I was playing it way too often, and then I effectively, when November came around, basically just stopped playing zombies and started playing sort of other genres of games. And it was just, I was playing these other games. I'm just like, these are so much better than zombies and so much more fun. Like, why have I been spending so much time on this one game where I'm constantly trying to better myself and constantly doing trying to get high rounds, stuff like that. And then I play another game. I think it was, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was Tales of Graces I was playing at the time. I went back to it as a game I'd played before. And I was just like, why the hell did I waste so much time playing zombies and just trying to get better when I could be relaxing, having fun, and playing, this amazing looking JRPG with fantastic story that isn't just people calling me a faggot and...
I think, okay, theory. I think that we all of us hung on to zombies for so long because we thought if we didn't, we would lose the friends we made through zombies.
Definitely. I mean, for me, it was 100% that. I mean, me, you, and Liz, sort of that sort of trio, especially, we were playing zombies so often last summer, and I was constantly trying to arrange more games and stuff because I was really worried that without zombies, the three of us were going to grow apart. And sure, I've grown apart from Liz, but I don't think that's because we stopped playing zombies. I think that's because life takes over, and me and you, we kept talking every day when we sort of found something else that we both really liked in, like commentating and stuff, and then we made this radio show, and now look at us, we're probably closer now than we ever were playing zombies.
Yeah. I don't know, Chopper. Is it different having started all of this when you were older, kind of going back to that? Like is the addiction to like when you got rid of zombies, when you're like, all right, I'm really kind of done playing. Like, did you ever worry that you weren't going to talk to Steve or Scotty or Mega or Boysta?
No, I didn't play for or really do anything for 2-3 months, but it's because I had some really difficult stuff going on in my personal life. And I'll be honest, I really had to take some time out, and Boysta actually sent me a text message after about 3 weeks saying, look mate, I know from you, I hope everything's alright. I said, look mate, I've just got some stuff going on, I'll be back at some point. And yeah, I mean, I've got some good friends, from that I've met through zombies. But Steve, I don't talk to as much because Steve's just he likes to do his own stuff. Me and Steve will still talk. I reckon once a month. We'll talk on a Friday night or something for 3-4 hours, and then we might, if we're doing the same stuff, especially if I'm in England, I've got nothing else to do, I might just play all day. But I'll only do it if I can really chat to someone. Yeah. That's what we'll do once. Whereas like Boyster and Mega, I tend to talk to a lot more often. But then you've got guys like yourself, Paolo, who, you didn't play or do anything in any part of my life. I suppose for
almost a year.
Quite a while, almost a year. But we still talked on Facebook. Yeah. And we still caught up on Skype, and we're still speaking now. And you can definitely make some really good friends for it, and I suppose be sometimes surprised by the friends you make.
Because it's almost 2.5 years now, I think, since this whole thing started. That's a long time.
It has to be that long.
Because 2011, I think. Right when Moon was coming out, so
It would have been, yeah, Jesus Christ. It's 2011.
God,
Wow.
it's a
No,
long-
wasn't that 2012?
No, 2011.
Was it that long ago? Wow.
Right, stream.
But you know what? Just jumping back to what I was just saying, I'll be honest, I have at times felt obligated to play zombies on occasion, but it's not so much. With No Man's Land recently, I know No Man's Land just takes effort. There's been times where I've woke up trying to do, and I've been like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, grin and bear it, and play. But generally, within 20 minutes of playing, I most of the time I have fun when I'm playing No Man's Land. But it has been my obsession recently, complete obsession. I honestly, I need to, and it's the thing is, it's totally for personal reasons. That's the crazy thing. I will upload this video, but it's certainly not. I'm not trying to do this to like impress people. It's, you know how long I've wanted to do this, Paolo.
Yeah.
Because it's since we've been speaking. 350 has been my goal.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. 350, and I just want to get it done. And I'll be honest, it will be a massive, massive chip off my, not a chip off shoulder, but a load off me once I've done it. Because I want to have fun or try and do some other stuff as well, but I always just feel like it just sucks me back in because I still haven't beaten it.
There was the same thing with me, the 350. You know, I was like, I mean, Kieran can speak to this because we, like, how many times did I go for like a 350 stream, and like too many, right, Kieran?
At least half a dozen.
It's just, it was like constantly trying to get it, and at some point I realized, like, yes, it's gonna be a huge chip off my shoulder if I get it, but I always thought, you know, what am I missing out on if I'm spending time playing No Man's Land for 3-4 hours a day?
Yeah, I remember one of those streams, like you were having like a really good run or something. Like I don't understand No Man's Land that much, but you were having like a really good run, and like you made a mistake, and you rage quit. Like you massively
that did
rage
happen.
quit.
Yeah, that
And
was the
then
last.
you
I think
just-
that was the last day I streamed.
Yeah.
Everyone's
you
done that in
just-
No Man's Land. Everyone,
Just-
I'm sure.
No, like I was streaming, so I
Oh,
think
you rage quit the stream.
I died and I said fuck, and then I just turned off. I think I threw my controller on the ground.
Yeah.
And I turned off the stream, and that was
Yeah. You heard the controller hit the ground, and it sounded bad. You could tell that you were really angry. It was like the stream stopped, and everyone in the stream chat was fairly active at the time, and just it just went silent. Like everyone was just like, "Oh shit! Is he like killed someone? Is he just like thrown his controller through his computer?"
It was bad. It was bad. I don't know if anyone else was there. Zeba might have been there. Andrew might have been, but yeah, Kieran was definitely there, and it was. That was like the worst of it. So at that point, I was like, all right, I need to take a look at my life.
I mean, honestly, and I kind of hate to say this given how zombies sort of brought us together, but I'm glad I don't really play anymore. I am so glad, because as much as I enjoyed playing zombies a lot of the time, it's just, I look back now and it's like, I put in so much time and put so much stress into that game, and in all that time, I can't think of a single accomplishment where I can say, yeah, I'm really proud of that. It's really awesome. Whereas with a game like, I don't know, a game I've been playing a lot recently, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, which just came out. Like, I've put in probably more hours on that game in the last, or not so much recently, but in the first 2 weeks or week and a half after it came out. I put more time into that than I sort of had in that same time period of zombies, and I actually felt like I was accomplishing something, because there was like a story and
progression.
And there was progression. It wasn't just, look at me, I'm running the same circle over and over again. And look, it's another day and I'm running the same circle. And just, it was ridiculous. And then like the next day, I'd be running a different circle on a different map, but it was still the same circle, just in a different place. It's just...
And here's the thing too, it's like, I feel like since we're really kind of melding the gaming with the life, I feel like types of games like zombies, it's really stressful, even though, like, even if everything is going great, but say like you want to get water, or you're hungry, or you need to go to the bathroom, or, you know, perhaps your landline rings and you need to go and pick it up. Like, you can't do any of that without, like, okay, you need to watch me, or we need to get a crawler at the end of the round. You know, it's like you have to make adjustments to your life in order to fully play the game. if that makes
I mean,
sense.
I remember one game of Buried we were playing with Flammenwerfer, and he had to go do something, and like he basically said, right, make sure the crawler doesn't kill me, and we just completely forgot about the crawler, and we were just sort of chatting away, having a happy old time, and the next thing we know, he goes down, and we're just like, ah, shit, because we were just having. Like, we were just enjoying ourselves, sort of having conversation and stuff. And next thing we know, the person that we're supposed to be protecting, because I mean, I don't think he was even doing much. I think he like went.
He had to go downstairs to answer the phone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and sort of he came back and he was like really sad because he lost all his perks and everything. It's like it should not be sort of a job to keep someone alive. You know, unless you're like, you know, a doctor or something, obviously that is then your job. But like when you're playing computer games, you shouldn't have to be sat waiting for someone to, you know, do something and then not let them die. That's just too much responsibility. You cannot trust me with
someone
your
else's life. Okay, well,
yeah.
Remind me to never make you my doctor. I don't know. It's like
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
The thing is about, to be honest, the only I organise my life, I suppose, quite well, and so generally, if I'm in a game, I can be, if that makes sense. On the occasions that I can't be, I'm always ready to quit. I was playing a game a couple of weeks ago, and my missus was at the hospital with my biggest boy. I wasn't sure what was wrong with him. He might have been coming home. It might have been just a chest infection. So I was looking after the little one, and I was just chatting with Boy Stuff, Mega, and the Project Zombie. And I said, "Look, guys, I can play. But if I get a phone call, I'm leaving." Because I'm thinking, what can I do? I'm sitting at home. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And they didn't care when I left. You know, I think it's just if you play with the right people, understanding, and just as I try and play. Or tell people if I'm going to be in that situation, and I think that's how I try and manage it.
I think it's definitely like there's some kind of envy, I would say, from me, just the fact that most of the people you play with are older, have lives, and they understand stuff. Because like with me at home, like whenever I'm like free, quote unquote, like I'm always like if my mom needs me to do something, or if there's someone at the door, or I need to take out the trash or get the mail, like that stuff always is priority over gaming. And I feel like people have trouble, like people my age, people a couple years younger, have trouble understanding that. And when you tell them,
that goes
like,
back to what we first started talking about the younger people getting too into it affects you in so many different ways, this game. And you've definitely got an advantage as an older person. I said that all the people I play with, we're all in a position where generally when we're playing, there's maybe one other person in the house, and they're not doing anything, and we're playing with no restrictions. No restrictions are having to go to the toilet, but it's never going to be anything like, as you said, like you need to help your mum, or you really need to do something. If we really need to do something, the people we're playing with are going to completely understand. I mean, I'm not sure, is that what you're saying, that the younger people might not understand?
Yeah, they don't. Like, no, like before, like I used to play with this bit, like before I met you and everything, and I was like playing Call of the Dead. I would play with this guy, and he would start playing. It was summer, and we'd start playing around 7 p.m. And we really like this was when Call of the Dead first came out. We wanted to do the Easter egg and get everything done, and it was like I think it was like 11 one night, and I was like, like I really want to. Like I want to get off because I have a doctor's appointment at 6 a.m. and I'd really like to get some sleep. So can we end it here? And he's like, no, like what are you talking about? Like we're here at like round 36. Like let's keep going. I was like, obviously like I got my way. I was like, all right, I seriously need to go, and I really like prefer that we stop playing right now. And he just like wasn't grasping that. And I've encountered similar stuff. Keeping going, like Kieran understands it really well. The fact that, like if I have something going on, then, and if you have something going on, then it's okay that if, like, oh, you died once, like it's fine. But, some people don't really understand that.
Yeah, I know I've played with people like that before. I don't play with them anymore.
It's uncomfortable. I know.
It's a one-time thing, definitely.
It's just.
You're right, you're uncomfortable. You feel, you kind of feel not necessarily trapped, but you can see the time you're trying to stretch out longer and longer, you can end up I don't know, I can end up playing for an extra half hour. I've done that before. So before new people playing with randoms, you end up playing for an extra half hour just because you don't want to kind of feel bad about leaving. But that's why you need to play with good friends, I think, who understand what goes on in your life. As I said, the people I party with, and this is the key thing. The only people I'm going to play with are people who know actually what goes on in my life.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not gonna I don't want to have to explain it to people. And so that's why I'm very selective about who I play with. It's only people I know, because I don't want to be in a game with people who I can only talk with zombies about.
Yeah.
You know, if you can only talk to someone about zombies, it's not my idea of fun.
And it's the same way. Like I started playing League of Legends, you know, just to see what it's about, and I got really into like collecting all of the different champions and stuff, and all the different skins that come with them. I was like, this is really fun, but it's even worse than zombies because people take the game so fucking seriously. And like if you're playing a game, like even it's not even like a ranked game where you get sorted into ladders based on skill and stuff. It's just like a normal game, and if you leave for like 5 minutes, like even the way the game is constructed, if you are like if you don't move your character for 5 minutes, you just get like timed out of the game, and you have to like log back in. It's a very like stressful environment, but the game itself is really, really fun. So,
do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Ghosts, if you've played it.
No, I haven't, but it's just like people take it so seriously, and you know, I want to play a game, but I don't want to get yelled at if I need to do something in my life. So it's really nice to like have like a friend to play with, and you can like set up a custom game and just, you know, showcase all of the different characters there are, and, you know, enjoy the game for what it actually is rather than like be pressured by the community. I feel like
it's like one of those things. I mean, you've been playing a lot of Civ 5 recently.
That is like the best. That is probably like the best game for like my lifestyle, because Kieran can tell you that there have been plenty of times where we've been playing, and then for like 2 or 3 minutes I'll just like go completely silent, and then he'll like hear me go sit back down in my chair and start playing again. Yeah,
it's one of those games that is really good for just sort of chilling with friends. But I could imagine if we were to play like genuinely online with other people and stuff, that people would just get so pissed off, because I know me and you, we have a habit of, I mean, not so much me. I mean, you're more like this, but just, you know, getting on with the rest of life around us while we're playing. Like we'll be in the middle of a game and just randomly I'll pick up my DS and start playing Pokemon at the same time. And it's just like I'm playing 2 computer games at once, but like, you can just relax and chill. But I know I have done this. I played an online game in the time that Paolo was away, and like I literally went to go get a cup of tea, which is what, a 3-minute task at most. And I came back, I was really happy. It was a really, really good cup of tea, you know, I'm British, I can do that. And I came back and I started drinking, and then I started looking in like the chat box, and people just going, why won't this dick take his turn, stuff like that. And it's like, come on, I was gone 3 minutes. And I just quit the game, like, after that. It's just like, are you really going to rage on me just because...
You're gone for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
I know, I feel like we're old, like, I feel like an old person. Like, you know how, like, old people in previous generations have just been like are like really slow moving and slow paced and enjoy doing crosswords out on the porch and stuff. I feel like with this generation of technology, like, we're gonna be the old people who like the casual games where we can pick them up and pause them and leave and come and go as we please.
The pause function is so underrated. Like, it was not long after we were playing zombies, I was playing a game. It was a single player game, and I was just playing it, and I was just like, right, I really need to go do this thing now. I really need to go do this thing. But I'm playing this game, and then it was like, it was at least half an hour, and I just went, hold on, I can fucking pause this game and go do what I need to do. I'd spent so long like playing zombies online, it's just like, I can't leave. I need to do this thing. I need to wait until we can get a crawler to make sure I don't die. And it's just like, I pressed the pause button, and I just sat there for a good 20 seconds, just like, I've been playing for half an hour, forgetting that I can just stop and go do whatever the fuck I want. And just that was when I really sat back and started to reevaluate my life, because it's like, if I can forget the ability to pause a game, then something is seriously wrong.
Who? What?
What did Nightbot do?
He deleted Mega's message. He just said old is good.
Okay, I just read Zeba's latest message, and I had not read the messages before, and it did
Yeah,
not
I can
sound.
s-
It did
I
not
can
come out good
understand that.
in my brain.
Man.
Especially with all the conversation of Boyster becoming the next Chatterbait legend.
Yeah.
Did Mega get timed out?
No, he got a warning. I don't think he wasn't timed out.
Deleted all his old messages.
Yeah, I don't know why Nightbot does that.
That's not very nice, is it, Nightbot?
Yeah,
There's
Nightbot's
a good joke in there.
Nightbot's just a dick. It's just like,
Yeah.
you did something wrong, I will erase your existence.
Yeah. You can set the rules. I think I should. I mean, like you can set like caps and stuff, but oh well.
What's his cat obsession? I don't understand.
Reg people. True. What were we talking about?
No idea, mate. Honestly.
Oh right, you had what was it we were talking about before? Like an hour and a half ago or something. We were talking about ketamine.
Oh yeah, depression.
Right.
We're
Before we
talking
start, gotta put in the plug for our
Yes.
for our 24-hour live stream. If you
Because
guys,
that's quite a random link, isn't it?
yeah. But considering it's related, our charity live stream event is going to be taking place on April 16th to the 17th from, I think, starting at 10 p.m. GMT to 10 p.m. GMT the next day. We will be raising money for Young Minds charity. If you guys don't know what it is, you can just scroll down on our stream page. There's a bunch of links you guys can check out. Feel free to share it. We'll probably have 2 Across the Pond episodes during that time, and we'll be playing a game during that period. We might play a custom map or 2 of zombies, but more than likely we'll probably play like Killing Floor or Diablo or something along those lines, and it would mean a lot if you guys would check it out, because it's about depression awareness, mental health awareness, and something kind of close to Kieran and I's heart. So
yeah,
and
we're hoping to raise, I think the target's set at £500, which is sort of about $800-900. And I honestly think that we can do it. Like, I've had people sort of say to me, like, you're trying too hard to get like too much money, you're gonna be disappointed and stuff. But the support we've had so far, given we've only really announced or started even talking about it in the last sort of 3 or 4 days, and sort of the support we've had has just been insane.
Yeah.
I'll post a link to the donate page now in case any of you have money you want to give right now. But there's a link to the donation page. It has some more information about why we are doing what we are doing and such, and also a little bit about the charity. And also, it has our first donation on there. We already have our first donation.
Yes,
and
one of my friends in high school. He read about it, and he said, whatever. Here's my $10. I was like, oh my god! Like, I was barely even friends with the guy, and he just, wow. Thank you. Oh, Nukem, you can have mod any day. Just not. But yeah, and I know Chopper mentioned ketamine, and it's the news that I'm not too familiar with it. So, if you could explain.
I read in the Hearts of Windows this morning, maybe, saying that there's a lot of people. Depressed people. My fiance's mum is a depressed lady. She has been for 7.5 years, and we've been together for 8 years. So the whole time, and I've seen how bad it is, and there's nothing worked on her. But they're saying that they've tried ketamine, right, which is basically a horse tranquilizer, but it's used as an illegal drug, and it's I have tried it once, and it's not very nice. But they're saying it helps with depression. Those people who nothing else affects, no medication. What did they call it? I don't think they call it behavioural therapy. I remember a word they used, but they're saying that it's showing some really good. After 40 minutes, the people who've, as I said, have not had any benefits from any kind of treatment, were showing good effects from it. I'm just trying to reread it now. Let's look.
It
People have
looks
had
really
depression for 20
easy.
years. It's changed.
Wow.
So that is actually quite exciting for science. That could be a
Yeah,
really good thing.
if it is going to be successful, then that is huge news. Like, that could literally change lives.
It could change everything.
Yeah. Some relapse within days, while others have found they benefit for around 3 months and have since had additional doses of ketamine. You've got to do something every 3 months, and they can make that as like a. Wow, that's really cool. Obviously, it's not going to work on everyone, but anything it reduces is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure.
Welcome back, Noober. We're just talking about our charity event, but ketamine. Like, what if? I mean, I don't know. Like, what does it make people feel? Because I know that the biggest thing with depression happens to be like you don't feel like yourself when you're on. If you are in severe depression, you take medication. Like, you don't feel like yourself. You kind of feel lifeless, or you're just not in control of your body. So I wonder how ketamine makes you feel. Like, does it make you feel more like yourself, or are you just kind of mellowed out? I don't know. I'm trying to find some research on that.
It's weird because with depression, I know a lot of people refuse medication, not because they don't want to get better or they don't want to change things, but simply because, you know, the idea of using drugs to sort of modify sort of your mindset, modify the way you think and stuff, that scares people. I mean, I never took drugs for my depression, but I know someone that did, and they hated it. They hated every minute of it. So it'll be interesting to find out just what the effects are, whether it's a genuine sort of, you know, mind modifier, or whether it's just whether it actually just helps, sort of thing.
Someone just said it looks really nasty, but I'm telling you, when they discovered morphine would have looked as nasty as something like ketamine.
Really?
Yeah, I think I don't know enough about that to make that a statement, definitely, but it makes sense to me. Morphine can kill, right?
Yeah.
Very, very easily.
Yeah.
And it's very carefully controlled. So surely, ketamine is that dangerous. At the end of the day, morphine at some point would have been as dangerous to science.
Is it a party drug? Because I'm just seeing an
It's
article.
an animal tranquilizer, but it is a party drug, yeah.
So people actually use it, Special K, to get some kind of high, and
Yeah, so I've tried it once, and it's horrible. It's just there's something called a K-hole that people who regularly take it talk about, and it's where they literally just say they literally feel like they're in a hole. You know, they'll be sitting in the corner of a club somewhere, and they might sit like that for 2 hours, and they're just, the time hasn't really passed right to them, and it's just, and it's an animal tranquilizer, so it's really, really dangerous.
I mean, what are some other options? I don't know, Karen, if you have. Are you knowledgeable in depression medication?
I mean, a little bit. The thing with stuff like that is a lot of it is just antidepressants, and that is a lot of the time all they can give. I mean, depression isn't something that you can like take something to remove pain. It's not physical pain, and I think that's the thing that makes it so difficult to sort of medicate for, is the fact that you're not trying to sort of get rid of physical pain, because there's plenty of different medications for sort of stopping stuff like that. When it's an actual chemical imbalance in the brain, there's really nothing you can do. It's just a case of trying to, you know, put a stop to what was going on, rather than actually changing anything, rather than actually healing. It's just a case of trying to sort of put something in the way, I guess.
It's quite a high number of people suffer from depression, isn't it?
It is, which is why I think I wrote this in the blog post that we advertised, that it's becoming kind of the disease of this generation. You know, how people in the 70s and 80s were just struggling to come to grips with what AIDS was. For us, it's it's not physical health. It's our mental health. You know, and people say,
I mean,
like, why are we not educating kids on mental health? You know, why do people find themselves depressed more than really any other disease? It seems like
it's one of those things that the biggest killer for, I think it's men under about the age of 30, is suicide.
Mhm.
Like, there is nothing in the world that killed more males under the age of 30 than suicide, because of things like depression. And yet still, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that things like cancer, they deserve all the exposure they get and they deserve all the money, but you see so many people, like, I'm raising money for, you know, cancer relief, things like that, but you don't get that same sort of following for something like mental health, which is potentially more damaging. I mean, as much, this is going to sound really, really horrible and a really controversial opinion, but at the end of the day, with something like cancer, you're raising money for, you know, what each individual person that suffers. With something like depression, it doesn't just affect, or to put this in a better way, it affects the people around the person suffering a lot more. Like, someone, if you're sort of, I know this happened with me, or I was quite popular, I had a lot of friends, I started suffering with depression, and the people around me just couldn't handle it, and it really sort of put a dampener on their lives as well. And I know other people that have had sort of similar situations, and I had a friend who commit suicide a few years ago, and you know, that took a lot out of me. And if someone were to die in my life of cancer, that would affect me a lot less than someone who commits suicide, because, you know, with cancer, it's a case of, it's really horrible to say this, but you kind of see it coming in a way. Like, it's one of those things, if you know that there isn't anything they can do about it, you can sort of mentally prepare yourself in a way, whereas if you have someone who is suffering with depression, you don't know what could happen. Like, well, one day they could be really happy, the next day they could be jumping off a building. And I guess it's that sort of unpredictability and that lack of knowledge that is in this society that really does.
You know, I think. Go on, sorry, mate. Keep going.
I was just going to say, it's a real shame, because it really is possibly the biggest killer of young people.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the problem is with I don't really know how to say this. I've been thinking about it. They call them like the glamorous diseases. It's a horrible way to say things, but certain diseases get far more attention and make logical sense compared to other diseases.
Yeah,
definitely. That's why I brought up the whole cancer research thing. Like, it gets so much exposure, when I say that cancer is less of an issue than mental health nowadays. That is my honest opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I completely see your point. I'm not sure I totally agree with it, but I completely understand where you're coming from.
And what Chopper was saying about it being the logical disease, like cancer, or even now HIV being a logical disease.
No, it's more things like particular types of cancer against other ones, like leukemia. Children's leukemia is fucking really bad, and it gets a disproportionate. This is it's a really sensitive subject, because it's kids, but and certain things get just disproportionate amounts compared to cancers that should get more research done on them,
because they have such a high mortality rate.
Yeah, but then they do. I think the key to cancer is that ultimately, if they crack it, they'll crack them all. It will not be that they will link them all. They have to link them all to the point where one thing is the cure for all of them. You know, whether it's some kind of genetic therapy that they can somehow modify genetic, or whatever it is, that's the case. So I suppose any research into cancer is good, but I do wonder how much is spent on the research of curing it against how much is spent on actually the current cures, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's I see. That's why I see where you're coming from, Kieran, on that.
It's just so hard.
I'm not. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Kieran, what were you about to say?
I think the thing with cancer is, at least it is sort of in Britain, I'm not sure about in America, but there is a very, very heavy focus on breast cancer.
And here too,
And
as well.
in terms of mortality rates, the example Chopper used, leukemia, it has a much higher death rate than breast cancer, but it gets much less exposure because I don't know why it gets less exposure. You hear of people with breast cancer who every day just sort of continue living a normal life. If you get leukemia, the chances of you living a normal life ever again are much, much lower. And I think it's a real shame that one cancer gets so much more exposure over the other when the one that's got more exposure over is potentially much more lethal.
Mm-hmm. And like Chopper was saying, he made a point. It's like the logical disease, you know. It's like it's easy to explain to people, you know. I mean, I'm not to self-promote, but currently in the book I'm writing, there's a conflict between suicide and death by natural causes, and I think that dying by natural causes is so much more logical than someone committing suicide. You know, it's like oh my god, you immediately think tragedy when someone dies from.
I think it's God. Honestly, I've always thought if there was a God, it would be God's leveler or nature's leveler, whatever way you want to look at it. I just think any disease out there, I've always thought like that. That there's always been diseases that come out of nowhere and just completely destroy and ravage like human life, and we're getting better and better at curing them. I just always thought that they come around for a reason. You know, it's just the way the world works, how everything is such a delicate balance between, you know, like if all the insects just disappeared, humanity would die within 3 months. Did you know that? 3 months.
That's
it's crazy.
Scary prospect.
And that's the thing. But I was talking like prostate cancer kills more men than breast cancer kills women, and breast cancer has a lot more attention than prostate cancer.
It just feels wrong that diseases that people understand get more exposure than things that they don't, just because they understand it. And obviously, if you understand something, you're going to feel more obligated to, you know, work towards helping it. But with mental health, especially, most people don't understand what it means. And it was I think it was something that Paolo said in his blog, that basically mental health is something that is I can't remember what it was he said. Let me see if I can find the blog post.
So while he's looking for that, when I donate, when's he going to ask me to actually pay, kind of thing? Because it's like it's just going to send me an email. I don't understand. Where's he going to ask for my details? Am I missing something?
I'm not sure. I've not actually donated myself. Not yet, at least.
Mega, how did you do it? I'm going to put in my email address and see what happens.
Alright guys, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say, but I have to run in a couple minutes here.
Okay, mate.
Okay.
I mean,
no,
you guys can... I mean, Kieran, you can close out the stream, but I unfortunately have to run. And I don't know, if you guys want to talk about anything else, that's fine.
I think we were sort of preparing to close up. We were...
Alright, well,
I'll just
I'll just leave right now, and you guys can end up the stream. Alright, thanks for coming, everyone. Thank you, Chopper,
thanks for having me, Paolo.
It was a great show. Thank you.
Paolo, how are we going to stop the stream if you're the one streaming?
I'll come back in like half an hour and stop it.
Okay,
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Bye, everyone.
See you later, mate.
See you, Paolo. Yeah, no, I can't find that blog post, so let me just try and work out this donation thing, just in case anyone else is having any more.
No, he's asking me to... I don't... Where do I make an account?
You don't have to make an account, you just...
I think I do on Just Give Him.
Really?
But he just uses an email address. Yeah, okay, it's just an email address.
Okay.
Okay, no, it's simple, mate. Or you can pay with PayPal, so you can literally, without actually creating an account, It looks like just payment method, then address, and donate. That's pretty much it. So I'll do that later when I can find a card somewhere.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap up the stream now, guys. So
Yeah, I
thank you,
enjoyed that.
thank you for coming along, Chopper. It's been a really, really great
I
stream.
appreciate you guys having me. Just
So-
an email, Chop Mega Sam. And stream. Thanks everyone for listening to us. I hope.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all soon. See you later, Kieran.
See you later, Chop.
Have a good one, mate.
You too. Okay, now I've got to work out what to do next. Okay, I guess what I'll do is I'll just end the call, because that'll stop my voice coming out. Okay, so thank you all for coming along. It's been a really, really fun show. Thanks to Chopper for joining us. We will be back next week. We don't have a confirmed guest yet, I don't think, at least not that I know of. And then the week after is our charity event. I'll just drop the Just Giving page in the chat again. Feels weird being in charge of the show. Really weird. Yes, thanks for coming along, guys. I'm going to leave you all now, and the stream's going to run until Paolo gets back. I have no idea what he's going to do about that, but yeah, so thanks all for coming, and I will see you next time.